Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Yoga for Everybody session. Let's go ahead and get started. My name is Skyla Ramirez, and we are going to start today with some deep breathing, deep belly breathing. So, to begin this portion of our session with a mindful breath, go ahead and find yourself in any comfortable position. It could be seated, you could be standing. If you've been seated for a while already, maybe go ahead and have a stand up. You could also lie down flat on your back with the knees bent. Let's all bring both of our hands onto the stomach, becoming aware of movement in the belly with our breath today. As we inhale, let's note the breath moving down into the belly. And as the lower lungs inflate, we're feeling that our stomach presses away from the spine. As we exhale, there is this passive contraction where the navel moves in towards the spine. Inhaling in through the nose as much as possible. Let's exhale as if we're going to fog a mirror. Long exhales, stretch the exhale out. Let's try 2 or 3 more like that. Inhaling down into the belly. Exhaling with our ha breath. Maybe one more inhale. Now let's take a moment, release the hands down beside us. And whether you're lying on your back, standing, or seated, you'll be able to adapt the next few movements in our warm up to help improve your posture. On the next inhale, let's sweep both arms out to the side and over our heads. Inhaling, exhale, palms forward, bend the elbows and pull those elbows in towards your side. Inhaling, sweeping the arms up. Nice big breath in. Exhale, taking it out, pulling the elbows in towards the side. We may want to begin to lift and lower the head, tracking the hands over the head. And then exhale, slowly bring the chin in towards the chest, elbows pulling in. Inhaling through the nose, elbows pull in, exhale from the throat. Option to close the eyes, possibly still moving the head and neck with the arms, exhaling from the throat. One or two more like this. Big breath in through the nose. Chin in towards the chest. Just one more. And exhale. If you are lying on your back, I invite you at this time to roll over onto one side and come on up into a seated position. From a seated position, whether on the floor or in a chair, let's inhale both arms overhead. And as we exhale, let's take this twist over to the right. Rotate at your navel, taking the left hand onto the right knee. And then take that right hand, sweep it back behind you. It's like a single backstroke with that right arm. Let's circle that arm a few more times, taking it forward with the right arm. Inhale, reach and open. Maybe we twist a little more as we reach back, bringing that arm through center. Inhale, we come out of the twist just a little bit. Big breath in. And then exhale, sweep it back. If you have your left hand on your right thigh, you could use that for leverage to increase the twist. Taking it back, pulling into that right knee just a little bit from your seated position. Let's do one more. Inhaling up. Exhale, twist. Let's hold the twist here and maybe lean back into your right hand. So if you're in a chair, you want to put that hand on the seat of your chair. You may want to scoot to the edge of your chair to make a little space, resting that right hand behind you on the seat of your chair. Let's turn the left palm up. Take that left arm back and around. Inhale, reach it up, big breath in. And now exhale, take it down. And let's move into that twist one more time. Slowly using that hand for leverage, looking over the right shoulder. Breathing mostly into your upper right lung. Practicing that ha breath. We're holding for maybe 2 more easy breaths. Maybe imagine that left hip dropping down and pulling back a little bit while that right shoulder pulls around diagonal in that twisting motion. One more inhale. Let's bring our bodies to center, both hands down on the knees. Take a moment and neutralize the spine with a little bit of seated cat and cow. As we inhale, come forward with the belly, pull up the ribs, open the throat. Exhale, draw the navel in, round your spine, and drop the head. Inhaling, coming forward, seated cow. Exhaling back, seated cat. Just one more. Inhaling forward, seated cow, pulling up through the ribs, bowing out the chest, opening the throat. Exhaling back, chin to chest, belly into the spine. Let the shoulders round forward as well. Let's come to center. Opening the palms, flying the arms overhead a single time. Inhale, reach, big breath in. Resting both hips, anchoring them to the floor, reaching from the armpits. When you're ready, sweep that left arm back behind you, maybe taking it down to the floor just a little bit. Take the right hand onto the left knee and maybe give a little pull of the hand into the knee and the knee into the hand to accentuate that twist. Let's take our left hand back behind us. Inhale. And then exhale, slowly bring it down and around. You can reverse that at any time, taking it up, back, and around. Moving the arm in any way that you feel is going to create more comfort for you today. So maybe experiment with both directions of that circling with the left arm. Experimenting with these large sweeping motions to maybe loosen up the rotator cuff. If you've been having shoulder pain, maybe take your fingertips onto the shoulder and just circle the elbow back and around instead of a full arm extension. Let's try just a couple more. Inhaling to open in any direction. Inhaling, open. Exhaling, close. At some point, let's just rest that left hand down beside us on the floor. Inhaling, sweeping and opening the right arm, reaching overhead dynamically. Big breath, reach. And now exhale, take it down and across again to the left knee. Let's work with a little more leverage here, pressing the left hand in, or the right hand into the left knee. And the left knee into your right hand, looking over the left shoulder, breathing mostly into the upper left lung. Staying for at least 2 more steady breaths here. When you're ready, release any tension with that right hand. Let's slowly bring it to center. We can stay seated exactly where we are, or we can uncross the legs. If you're seated, take your legs out really wide in your seated position. Holding on to the sides of the thighs if it feels right for you. Inhale, coming forward, moving the belly towards that space between the knees and the thighs, pulling up the ribs, lifting the chin. When you're ready, exhale, pull the belly button back. Drop the chin into the chest and allow the spine to go into this really exaggerated, rounded shape. Inhaling, coming forward, lifting up through the ribs, opening up that belly, getting ready for healthy digestion, helping with elimination processes, moving out and processing any old matter or absorbing any nutrients that may be stagnant. Exhale, contract the belly, rounding the spine, stimulating the energies over the kidneys and the adrenal glands, fighting fatigue. Let's do one more. Inhale forward, healthy digestion, lifting metabolism, and then exhaling back, healthy kidneys, healthy liver, and pancreas. Let's come to center. If you're seated on the floor, please take your time to eventually come to standing. We might want to let those knees sway over to one side, finding an all fours position first. And from all fours, we step 1 foot forward at a time, coming into a supported forward fold position for the body. Placing the hands firm on the thighs. If you're seated in a chair, just go ahead and stand up and come down about halfway with your hands on the thighs. Let's let those knees sway, let the hips sway a little bit. Feel the foundation in your feet shifting just slightly. Give the body a little bit of time to interpret stability and stabilization, supporting the weight of the body through the soles and the muscles in the feet. When you're ready, let's walk the hands up towards the hips. On an inhale, we're sweeping our arms straight up and overhead. Big breath in. Lean over to the left just a little bit, leaning to the left. We may want to lower the left hand down and continue to reach with the right fingertips towards the sky. From this standing crescent position, you could always take your left hand under that right armpit. On an inhale, pull up on your ribs and armpit, separating the ribs just a little more along that right waistline. From here, let's take that right hand, bring it down beside you. Inhaling, taking the left arm up and overhead. Big breath in, leaning over to the right. You could even press down a little more into the left foot. Let's bring that right hand across and under the armpit. On an inhale, we're pulling up from that armpit region, making some space for the stomach and the pancreas to function. We want to balance those blood glucose levels in the midday. Big inhale. And now exhale, come to center. Let's relax both hands down, stepping the feet out to the width of your pelvis bones. From here, stepping our left foot back, a very short stride, bending our right knee. We'll take those arms up and overhead to traditional warrior one. Continuing to reach towards the sky while we're lunging forward, leading with the heart, pulling the shoulders back, keeping those shoulders stacked directly over the hips. One more big breath in. Exhale from your throat. Inhaling in place. Let's exhale, swan diving down, coming down with a flat back, leading with the heart over that right knee. We're reaching our arms back behind us into an airplane position. Let's press down into that right foot. From here, take the right hand to the low back, and let's draw that left hand across towards the right thigh. On the inhale, we're moving into a twist on the right. As we breathe in, we draw that right shoulder back. Imagine your left shoulder is lengthening out over your right knee. The armpit is actually pulling away from your hip to lengthen out diagonal over the right knee. We can stay here or straighten that right leg, both legs straight, which can give us a different type of stretch along the outer hip and maybe even on the inner thigh. Press into the inner blades of your feet to stabilize the energies in the pelvis. Let's inhale, drawing that right shoulder back a little more. Left shoulder in just a little bit and pulling out, nice long spine. Option to extend your right arm from the low back, straight out over the hip or up to the sky, moving into a twisted triangle pose. Let's breathe into that upper right lung. Big inhale. Exhale. On the inhale, twist a little more. Inhale, pull open the right chest. And then exhale, it's going to retract a little bit. Let's do one more. Big breath. And then exhale, bringing both hands onto the thigh. As we inhale, let's flip the hips back, walking the hands down our right leg into pyramid pose. Let's hang our head, shake it yes. Turn it left and right. In cases where we may be feeling dizzy, we can always keep our hands on a prop, a wall, desk, or chair. Let's practice big exhales from the throat. Big sighs of relief. Two more. Last one. When you're ready, slowly bend that right knee. Let's walk the hands to our thighs for support, lengthening the spine. When you're ready, step forward. Both hands on the thighs, supported forward fold, letting the hips sway, easy left and right. Pausing to shake the head yes, and turn the head left and right. Let's flatten our spine, supported forward fold, hips pressing back. Seeing the hips at the width of the pelvis bones. On an inhale, arms go back. Let's sweep those arms up and overhead. Stepping our right foot back, a very short stride. Keeping a healthy bend in the left knee. Holding warrior one. We're lunging forward and pulling the shoulders back in alignment with our ears over the hips. Right leg is straight, energy drawing down and up through that right heel. One more big inhale. Exhaling halfway down, and it could be less than halfway depending on how our back is responding today. Let's continue to reach dynamically behind us, taking our right hand onto the left thigh. Let's bring that left hand to the low back. Option to keep that left knee bent, especially if you have had a tight IT band or a tightness in your knees. Keep that left knee bent. On the next inhale, we're drawing that left shoulder back, feeling as if the right armpit pulls out and over your left knee. Let's think about the right heel, pushing down and back into that right heel. Inhaling as we continue to open the left side of our chest. And maybe we even look over the shoulder a little bit. Press into the inside blades of your feet and pull the muscles up in the pelvic floor. This is often known as a root lock. Activation of the pelvic floor muscles or the urethral muscles, pulling up through the pelvis. One more big inhale into that upper left lung. Draw the left shoulder back. Pausing here, we may want to extend that left arm out from the back over the hip. Or maybe we take the arm up a little more towards the sky or to where the wall meets the ceiling today. We can always straighten the left leg, both legs straight, pushing into the inner blades of the feet, pulling up through the pelvis. You could even act surprised and notice what muscles this recruits for stability. Let's try it today. Exhale all the way. 1, 2, 3, surprise. From there, keeping that lift in the chest, keeping the lift in the hips and the pelvis, rotating just a little more, allowing that right shoulder to lead in the twist. The left shoulder pulls back. One more breath into that left lung. On the exhale, slowly steady your gaze. Let's slowly bring both hands to that front left thigh, pressing the hips back. We're slowly walking our hands down on that left leg to the shin, maybe touching the floor. Hanging the head, let's shake the head yes. Turn it left and right. 3 exhales from the throat here. Heavy exhales. To safely come up, protecting our blood pressure, let's walk our hands up to our thigh. Keep a little bend in that front knee. And now slowly bring it all the way up. Let's step forward, feet at hips width distance. Inhaling, taking our arms back and overhead, extended mountain. Exhale, sweeping them back and around, flying arms. Big breath in as we inhale. And exhale back, taking our time to reset the spine. One more. On the next inhale, let's sweep those arms up and reach, reach, reach. From here, shifting forward, try lifting your heels just enough to slide a credit card under your feet. As we inhale, we may want to turn the palms back behind us with a little bend in the elbows. Pulling up from the elbows, the shoulders, and the chest. We're moving into a nice big standing back bend to correct our posture, to work against the shearing forces of gravity in everyday life. The more we pull up through the arms and the elbows, the more we may want to allow the chin to lift as a natural extension of your spine. Inhale, pulling up and back, maybe looking up, breathing into the chest cavity, into that chest space. Maybe we lift the heels just a little higher for a balanced challenge. Let's try 2 more big breaths. Big inhale and exhale. 1 more. When you're ready, let those heels drop, let the hands come down. Let's take the feet out to about hips width. And at this time, you can stay standing, or you can come down to seated in a chair or even on the floor. Let's move into a little bit of self-care today with cupping. This is an extension of a centuries-old technique that is used to improve the health of fascia, connecting tissues, and also improving circulation and lymphatic drainage. So to do this, we're going to cup the hands. All of our fingers are touching, and you just simply curve the palms of your hands. In the same way you would curve the palm of the hand to scoop and drink water, just a little scoop or a little curve of the hands. From here, take your arms out. Let's take our left hand over to the right shoulder, and we're just going to pat all the way down to the wrist and then all the way back up. Let's turn that right palm over, patting on the inner arm all the way down to the wrist and up. And you may pat 1 time or a couple of times in succession. From here, let's take our right hand and place it on the low back. Take your left hand and pat it under the armpit and on the sides of the ribs. You may even want to come under the chest, along the bottom rib and belly for this. And if you're able to reach around a little bit by your kidneys, pat on that as well. Let's take our time, come to neutral, take your left hand out, cupping with the right hand from the shoulders all the way down. It could be 1 time through, 2 times through. When you're ready, flip that left palm over so that we can pat on the underside of that arm to the inner arm and wrist. And when you're ready, take your left fingertips to the shoulder and let's pat along the armpit, the side rib, coming underneath the chest and breastbone region over to the ribs and the belly, and maybe even around to the low back a little bit. along your kidneys. Whether you're seated or standing, let's take the feet out a little wider. From standing, we're going to squat just a little bit, taking the hands onto the tops of your thighs, down into the crease of the upper quadricep and pelvis. We're going to take it down onto the inner thigh and just pat down to the knee and up. There are some larger lymph nodes in the legs, around the pelvis and the thighs, that can get really stagnant when we have long periods of seated. And that can create circulatory issues all the way down to your legs and feet. Over time, it can lead to types of neuropathy. So maybe we just feel numb or tingling or cold in the limbs. We're using this to stimulate those energy channels to combat prolonged periods of being seated. Take this around onto your upper thighs, your hips, outer thighs, inner thighs again. To close our sequence in flushing the system, take your hands and make a triangle type shape, either seated or standing. We have the palms facing in with the thumbs and the index fingers touching. Let's take the thumbs onto the belly button and we're going to press into the lower belly and gut with the fingertips. Exhale all the way with your chin down. Pause. Now push in with the fingertips and pull up towards your belly button. Release that pressure. Take in a breath. Exhale. Push in, pull up. It's almost as if you're trying to grab the intestinal region and pull up a little bit. We're trying to get into the lymph nodes and the lymphatic system around your gut, around the stomach and intestinal tract, and even stimulating and balancing the pancreas, blood sugar levels. Let's do 2 more. Inhale. Exhale, push in, pull up. Inhale, release. Exhale, push in and pull up. And when you're ready, exhale, release. Now, if you're able to come down to the floor, maybe lie down on the floor for a moment. Take your time to go ahead and do so. Otherwise, come into any easy seated position as we practice just a little bit of mindful breathing for our final minute together. It is important to round out this session in a neutral, comfortable position for the body, bringing it all back to where this began today. Bring it back to the breath. Let's place both hands on the belly, soften the shoulders, soften your jaw, lower the chin. Inhaling into the nose, allowing the stomach to press gently into the palms of your hands. And then exhaling, drawing that navel into the spine, effortless on the exhale. Effort on the inhale. Let's take in a big breath. Exhale as if you're fogging a mirror. Maybe 2 more big sighs of relief like that. Breathe into the nose. Belly pushes out, keeping that abdomen really active with our breath. Exhale. Just 1 more. From here, we can keep our hands over the chest or bring them to the heart in closing. I thank you so much for joining me today. Drink lots of water, stay warm, everybody, and I will see you next Monday. Please remember to join me every Tuesday and every Thursday at high noon for our meditation and mindfulness sessions as well. Have a fantastic day.